Good morning to you, Dr. Ahilan. Now, given the current situation, it does look like a repeat of what we saw on Saturday, but this time around, the protesters are storming the residence of Wickremesinghe and also towards the Parliament House. Now, what is it that can be done on an urgent basis, because an emergency has also been declared across the country and the scenes on ground don't look very good?
Yeah, I think the demand of the protesters has been that both President Gotabaya Rajapaksa and Prime Minister Wickremesinghe resign. And Prime Minister Wickremesinghe has been reluctant to resign. So that has also caused a lot of anger among the protesters. It's very clear that this regime has lost legitimacy. Prime Minister Wickremesinghe never had the mandate to be appointed Prime Minister, and he's trying to hold on to power. The demands of the protesters were very clear, that there should be a credible interim government consisting of the opposition, and then to form and have the interim government until such time as elections can be held. So those demands, I think, are not going to change. And the government has completely lost any legitimacy, and the people are going through tremendous economic suffering. So until such time as those demands are met, an interim government is formed. There's also calls for a People's Council of People's Representatives to work with the Parliament. And the executive presidency, which was brought about 4 decades ago, has been the bane of so many problems in Sri Lanka, centralization of power in one individual. So that needs to be abolished. There's also calls to abolishing the executive presidency so that we can go back to a Westminster-style parliamentary democracy that was there until 1978. So that is the way to move forward. And I think Ranil Wickremesinghe is being very unrealistic in trying to hold on to power, and he thinks that he can crush this movement.
Dr. Ahilan, now by Saturday it was obvious to the to the Rajapaksas that the political situation has turned against them irreversibly. But as far as Wickremesinghe is concerned, he too did announce that after the next government is formed, he will step down. That's an assurance that was given by him 2 days ago. Now, do you think that's not cut any ice with these protesters, or is it that they're angry at the fact that he is going to be the interim president as per the Sri Lankan constitution?
No, the demand was for him to immediately resign.
Okay.
If he resigns along with the president, the Speaker of the House can be the acting president until such time as they elect a new president within 1 month from the parliamentary ranks. Now, even if they elect a new president, the president's executive powers should not be exercised, and it can be a symbolic role, and parliament should be pressured to abolish the executive an act of parliament. Now, I think that is very clear what the protesters' demands are. But what we have seen in parliament, including by Ranil Wickremesinghe, is trying to undermine the people, to deceive the people, and this has been the history over the last number of months. And that's why there is so much anger out on the streets, because the people feel betrayed, and they're also suffering in the meantime as these politicians try to have their way at every moment without considering the concerns of the people.
Yes, and Gota is finally gone. That's a long-standing demand of these protesters that they kept raising all throughout. Now that he's fled the country along with the First Lady, that has certainly taken its own form. And we are seeing these protests once again break out, this time against Ranil Wickremesinghe. But sir, this is not going to put an end to Sri Lanka's chronic instability, which will perhaps be an even harder task than ousting the Rajapaksas.
No, I don't think it's going to be such a hard task in that Ranil Wickremesinghe does not have a social base. He was completely defeated in the last elections. He's pretty much an individual who will be isolated. It's just that the longer he holds on to power, every day matters in terms of the mounting economic crisis.